The Department of Justice on Tuesday charged an Afghan national with conspiring to carry out a terror attack on Election Day. A statement, Attorney General Merrick Garland says, quote, the Justice Department foiled the defendant's plot to acquire semi-automatic weapons and commit a violent attack in the name of ISIS. CBS News Justice Department reporter Rob Legary joins us now. So what do we know, Rob, about the suspect and these charges?
Hey, good afternoon, John. Good evening, John. Thanks for having me. So the criminal complaint was just filed in federal court in Oklahoma, and we're just reading over this 28-page criminal complaint. And what we're learning is that Tawhidi was an Afghan national who was led into the United States in 2021 on a special immigrant visa. And prosecutors allege that he and a co-conspirator, who they describe as his wife's brother, so his brother-in-law, were a subscriber to ISIS ideology and consumed ISIS propaganda. They allege that that the defendant and his co-conspirator, who's not named in charging documents, sought to carry out an election day attack here in the U.S. in the name of ISIS by doing many things: purchasing weapons, selling their family home, working to repatriate their family back to other countries across the world to make sure that they were in the United States. And I just want to read a portion here from the criminal complaint. He further stated that he and his co-conspirator sought to obtain weapons and purchased AK-47 rifles for the purpose of conducting firearms training and committing an attack on Election Day, targeting large gatherings of people. So prosecutors arrested him yesterday, and they said following his arrest, he basically explained the plan of his attack. Prosecutors, the Justice Department said today that he made his first appearance in federal court and will likely remain in custody. John.
Rob, do we have any sense, I know it's quite early in this, but do we have any sense whether this was a lone wolf operation or whether there's any larger connection, anything in the filing that suggests anything other than these two participants?
Sure. So what we do know is that there were some communications on Telegram with other individuals named here. They are not charged, but there was some communication here. What we do know is that the defendant and his co-conspirator, who appeared to be his brother-in-law, were consuming ISIS ideology and professing their commitment to that cause.
And finally, does it seem like this was far down the lane, or that they were in the preliminary sort of planning stages? I mean, on the one hand, it sounds like they were making efforts to get people out of town and do that kind of thing, which seems like they were pretty far down the operation. On the other hand, they were just getting the weapons. What do we know about where they were in terms of the timeline?
Right. Well, the FBI director came out with a statement saying that his agents were able to come and stop this attack before anybody was hurt. We're about less than a month out from Election Day. And so this is a serious threat that the FBI and the Justice Department clearly take seriously. We have statements from the FBI director and the Attorney General announcing this arrest. And we do know that federal officials and state officials have been on guard for certain threats from abroad over the last few months. The FBI director has said in recent months that he has never seen this many red lights flashing on the threat environment as he has seen in the last few months. And so this is clearly something that federal officials have been watching for. What we don't know really is, to your point, how far along in their planning were they? They clearly were seeking to obtain weapons, seeking to sell their house, but federal investigators revealed that the person they were trying to sell their house to was a confidential human source with the FBI, the person they were trying to...
Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from Great Millstone, Orlando Camp. And there's a lot of shady shit going on. All right. Supposedly, according to this narrative, that's being pushed right now. Another T attack, pretty much averted. Pretty much foiled, prevented. All right. We're definitely living in, as the scriptures say, perilous times. All right. Definitely got to be careful, circumspect, aware, alert at all times. Because those of us in the know, knowing and understanding, life as we know it is about to very dramatically and drastically change. All right. There's a lot of things going on, and we know it's just a matter of time, before this thing spills over. All right. I'm going to get into this here in Jeremiah 1. Jeremiah chapter 1. And Jeremiah 1 and verse 13. And the word of the Lord came unto me the second time, saying, What seest thou? And said, I see a seething pot, and the face thereof is toward the north. Then the Lord said unto me, Out of the north an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. All right, so this thing is already at a boiling point. but it's getting ready to spill over. You know, that's the point. This thing is getting ready to spill over 10 times over. All right, because all hell is getting ready to break loose. You know, there's been all type of talks of some type of an event before the elections. All right, a lot of people suspect that we might not have any elections or selections. All right. We got all these talks of these cyber attacks that's been going on, which, you know, I believe, many of us believe these aren't nothing but beta tests, because through the spirit, through the power of the left hand of the Lord, you know, Esau, he's getting ready to drop the hammer. He's getting ready to make his move. He's getting ready to do something. And of course, you know, because there's always you know, you always got the boogeyman, you know, because you just had what's being said, you know, like I said, there's always a boogeyman, you know. For the most part, America's never going to come out and just all outright tell you that, hey, you know, we are at war with our own citizens. You know, they're not going to do that. So there's always some so to say fall guy, you know. And you just had it to where you had these, I think it was Verizon and AT&T get hacked by China, you know, Chinese hackers, so they say. You just had these water facility, this water plant being hacked, you know, and there's been all type of cyber attacks going on, within this year alone, you know. You got as concerning wars and rumors of wars, you know, all the escalation with Iran and Israel. All right, which I believe, you know, because, you know, as of right now, is getting to a point, is getting beyond Israel and Iran. All right. Now, it's not going to go nuclear as of yet, but right now, you know, Russia and Israel are pretty much sending threats to one another, you know, which is going to cause this, like the prophecy states, the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right, because this guy Benjamin, not a you know who, is this man? He's just on a war campaign, you know, because for one, you know, he needs to prolong that war, because the minute he steps down, or whatever the case may be, the minute he gets out of office, his own people over there are going to be after him. You know, they're going to be after his head because they want him out of there. So he's going to continue to prolong this war. All right. But you hear how this guy talks, man, and he's just it's just, you know, it's just like, damn, this guy, he's cold with it. He's reckless, you know. And I don't mean that in a good way, you know. Because the Lord is cold, you know. You know, just praying and talking to the Lord on a daily basis, and it's just like, damn, you know, because the Lord, you know, the Lord is always doing incredible things, and it's just like, damn, Lord, you're cold, you know. The Lord is cold, you know. And that's with all due respect. So when I mention this guy Benjamin, not a you know who, talking about, you know, how he's just cold with it, man. I don't mean that I mean that with all disrespect. All right, I don't mean that with any respect. He's a madman. All right, you know. To the point where you got the Biden administration telling him to pretty much calm down, you know. But like I quoted, hey, the least of the flock shall draw him out, because right now it's Israel and Russia. They're pretty much, you know, threatening one another at this point. So things are just heating up all across the board. All right, but mainly and specifically here in America. All right. Again, this thing is about to spill over, man. 144 times over, you know. And like I said, and evil shall break forth on this land, man. All hell is getting ready to break loose. And like I said, you know, to those of us in the know, you know, we know this is any day now, you know, any day now. All right. At any moment. That's why the scriptures say we walk not as the others walk in the darkness. We are the children of light. All right. You know, now it's high time to wake out of sleep. All right. Because when you go into that sleep, it goes into that, hypnosis, you know. Because again, man, you have all type of distractions going on right now, man. You know, with this whole P Diddy situation, you got Jake distracted. The fact that you got LeBron James and his son, pretty much, you know, LeBron James and his son, pretty much, that's the talk amongst Jake right now. You know, LeBronny James. You know, you got father and son in the league. You know, playing in the league together. There's just all type of distractions going on right now. You know, all type of sleight of hands. You know, while Esau puts you best believe when Esau puts one narrative out there, all right, there's a whole lot of other things going on behind the scenes. So, like I said, there's a bunch of sleight of hands going on right now. You know, but this thing is getting ready to spill over. All right, life as we know it is about to change very dramatically and drastically. All right. You know, been all time. Slakia, because I was mentioning with the whole wars and rumors of wars, the fact that Israel, Russia and Israel, pretty much threatening one another right now, and I suspect, because once these nations start going at Israel, once these nations start attacking Israel, by default, being that America is allied to America, Slovakia, being that America is allied to Israel, America backs Israel, by default, I believe they would attack America too. You know, and that's what they've been, that's another narrative that they've been pushing out there lately, an attack on American soil. You know, I'm gonna grab this. And there's been reports of Russia specifically coming against America, because again, by default, if you attack Israel, you got to attack America. I mean, it only makes sense to me, you know. And being that Russia has all these allies, China, North Korea, so on and so forth, you know, hey, you know, it would make sense for these other nations to attack attack America as well. Like the scriptures say, I will fill thee as with men. I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, right? Ezekiel 38. Hell, you just have reports, and I still gotta look into this. But there's been reports of police over there in Russia being rushed. Has been suspected, or is being said, you know, it's all speculation right now of something might have happened to Putin. You know, you had police rushing over to where he was at, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I got to look into that. But what was I reading? Ezekiel 38 and 10. It says, "Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought." Because something's going to happen to where those Russians are going to say, the hell with it. Those Russian Edomites, they're going to say the hell with that. You know, they're going to say, fuck that. All right. Matter of fact, real quick. Get this in Isaiah. I'm gonna come back to this. Oh shit! Dealing with these Russians, these Russian Edomites, in Isaiah 13 and 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, and the current inhabitants of the land of the Medes right now will be those Russian Edomites. It says, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So like I said, and as I'm going to go back to in Ezekiel 38, something's going to happen to where the Russians are going to say, the hell with that. All right. And once it gets to that point, there's not going to be any negotiating. All right. You know, it's not going to be no going back from there, you know. And this could take place because Apostle Tahar made a pretty good point a couple of weeks ago in their camp video. You know, dealing with because you know the scriptures talk about how in 1 hour, all right, you know, America's going to be destroyed. And you know, the Apostle Tahar, like I said, he made a very good point, because those missiles, it's not going to take 1 hour to destroy America. You know, it's going to be a lot less. You know, and being that those missiles can reach America and within 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not going to take America 1 hour to be destroyed by those missiles. You know, and you know the way that Apostle Tahar was breaking it down some weeks ago, because hey, Russia can hit America with a you know, some type of an attack, you know, some type of a strike. All right. Going back into this in Ezekiel 38 and 11, or verse 10. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. All right, so like I said, you know, something will happen to where those Russians, man, they could do something. You know, they could very well attack America, invade America, hit America with some type of a strike. All right. You know, whatever the case may be, you know, he's going to think an evil thought. And as I read in Isaiah 13, he's not, hey, there's not going to be any type of negotiating. You know, once it gets to that point, it's too late. You know, but that was just, you know, because when the Apostle Tahar was breaking it down, he you know, it wasn't doctrine. It was just his, you know, it was just something that he was thinking about pretty much. It was just, and like I said, it makes sense, you know, but nevertheless, we'll see. But the point I wanted to get was verse 11. It says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely. And all of them dwelling about walls, and all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, and that dwell in the midst of the land. All right, because like I said, like I was saying, you know, by default, you know, if you attack Israel, it just makes sense that you would attack America as well. You know, and that's been the talk as of lately. All right, and an attack on American soil, specifically by Russia. All right, an invasion by Russia. You know, and again, you know, we, as it tells you in the same chapter, the nations allied to Russia: China, Libya, soon to be Turkey. All right, Iran. You know, North Korea, all these nations allied to Russia, hey, they could follow suit, you know. So either way, America's done for. You know, Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shah is going to hit America from, you know, from all angles, from the inside out, all right, outside in, you know, from all angles. America's been crumbling from the inside out, you know, but the Lord is hitting this place from all angles, you know, starting from within, you know. But from all these cyber attacks, all right, like I said, from the corrosion from within, you know, because like I said, the Lord is strategically, you know, crumbling America. America's crumbling from within. All right. Just with everything that's going on, from like I said, there are all these cyber attacks going on through the power of the left hand, the power of the Lord on the left hand, man. The Esau's getting ready to do something, man. All right, and a lot of us suspect something could take place before these elections, and I've said this before, because if and again, this is just my opinion, if Trump gets up in there, you know, these nations, that it wouldn't be for the best interest of these nations if Trump got back up in there. And I reported on this before, you know, because with all the escalation, all right, the wars, the rumors of wars, these nations could very well make their moves. All right, China invading Taiwan, all right, so on and so forth. You know, these nations could very well make their move before these elections, all right, because it wouldn't be for their interest if Trump got back up in office, all right. You know, and Trump, man, however this plays out, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, man, because if Trump doesn't get back up in office, because Trump is these last people's hope, all right. Trump is Trump is the last hope for these Americans, all right, for Jake, for these patriotic Edomites, especially these patriotic Edomites, all right. If Trump doesn't get back up in there, hey, you best believe these good old boys, man, you know, they're gonna they're gonna tear this shit up, you know, because we know civil war is coming, which, you know, on the little sidebar with all this talk of, you know, FEMA talk, you know, FEMA withholding, you know, goods and supplies, you know, all the threats of, hey, if FEMA comes around, you know, FEMA agents getting arrested if they come around. It's one thing is leading to another, man. One thing will lead to another. One thing is leading to another. You know, civil unrest is brewing in this bitch, man. You know, so it's only a matter of time before this thing spills over. But like I was saying, and as I've said before, you know, these nations could very well make their moves, you know, before these selections, all right, because they definitely for damn sure can't get Trump back up in there. You know, they can't allow Trump to get back up in there, so they could make their moves before these, you know, selections. All right, which is why we see such an escalation when it comes to the talk of wars and rumors of wars. But of course, we just have to wait and see. But like I said, man, just with everything that's going on in general, man, something's getting ready to happen. All right, and Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord lets these devils finally make their move and drop a hammer already, because we're ready to get up out this bitch, you know, regardless, man. We're ready to see this thing go down, you know. But like I said, man, there's a lot of shady shit going on. Just stay in your P's and Q's, stay circumspect, stay prayed up above all, you know. Well, Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom to you, hopefully elect.